Luca of SimBoxx, co-host of the Let's Talk Boxing podcast, and all-round casual boxing fan. This is the Sweet Science, presented to you by Clint Patricks. Make sure you check those guys out over on Instagram. We've got a lot of great products over there. And this is the Sweet Science. Today would have been the 79th birthday of the great Muhammad Ali. Myself and Ewan, our SimBoxx boxing historian, are going to take a look at the career, the life and times of Muhammad Ali. Now let's rewind to the 17th of January 1942. A baby by the name of Cassius Marcellus Clay is born in Louisville, Kentucky. This baby would go on to become one of the most recognisable and significant figures of the 20th century, and arguably the most famous and celebrated sportsperson of all time. He was a transcendent figure. He crossed over into mainstream appeal, and whether you knew him as the Louisville Lip, the People's Champion, or the greatest, whether you knew him for the Rumble in the Jungle, the Thriller in Manila, the trilogy with Joe Frazier, everybody knew who Muhammad Ali was. As I say, he was a transcendent figure. He was known the world over. I'm now going to pass over to a lifelong Muhammad Ali fan, my co-host of the Let's Talk Boxing podcast, Ewan, to tell us a little bit more about Muhammad Ali and his career.
The story of Muhammad Ali begins with a stolen bike and ends with the greatest athlete the world has ever known. After winning gold in Rome, he turned professional, using his dazzling speed and lightning footwork to skyrocket to a title shot. At his best, he embodied poetry in motion. Twice he stopped champion Sonny Liston, shaking up the world. Cassius Clay then became Muhammad Ali as the young champion, joined the Nation of Islam and began campaigning for civil rights. He beat every contender in the ring and ended up taking on the US government, refusing to enlist in the US Army and joined the war in Vietnam. Entering his physical prime, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison and stripped of his boxing licence. But his convictions never wavered.
You my opposer when I want freedom. You my opposer when I want justice. You my opposer when I want equality. You won't even stand up for me in America for my religious beliefs, and you want me to go somewhere and fight, but you won't even stand up for me here.
After 3 years out of the ring, he was exonerated, and his eyes were set on his old title, now held by the man who would become his most bitter rival, Joe Frazier. The fight was a battle, but ultimately it was not to be for Ali. Pushed back into the wilderness, many said that Ali's career was done, that he was finished, that he had no business in with the likes of Frazier and Foreman. But then in 1974, on a glorious night in Zaire, he did it all again. Muhammad Ali rolled back the years to knock out the ferocious George Foreman. Now there was only one score left to settle. Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier went to battle for a third time in Manila, fighting not for the heavyweight championship of the world, but for the heavyweight championship of each other. Ali was victorious and ultimately cemented his legacy as the greatest fighter to ever live.
A very touching tribute there from Ewan. In 1984, Muhammad Ali was diagnosed with Parkinson's. However, he tried to live his life the best he could, continuing to raise millions and millions of dollars for organisations across the world, helping hundreds of millions of people with humanitarian and charity work. As we headed into the new millennium, Ali's condition continued to deteriorate, but he was as active as possible. He helped promote his biopic movie, Ali, with Will Smith, amongst other ventures. Unfortunately, in 2016, Muhammad Ali succumbed to his illnesses. He passed away in June of 2016, and the tributes from across the world, sports people, celebrities, politicians, offered their condolences to the family of Muhammad Ali, and it was just a measure of the man that he was. The likes of Floyd Mayweather, LeBron James, amongst others, sports stars, celebrities, as I say, they all offered their condolences. But even after death, Muhammad Ali continues to inspire the next generation of boxers. There's not a gym you'll go in across the world that won't know who Muhammad Ali is. They'll have the posters on the wall. They'll teach the rope-a-dope. They'll teach the Ali shuffle. Muhammad Ali's memory lives long after his death. And that, again, is a simple measure of the man. Thanks for checking out today's episode, guys. Make sure you hit that like button below. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment as well for your favourite ever Muhammad Ali fight, victory, moment of his career in the comments below. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Take care, guys.